enemy targets in the jungle. So the raids, the red buff has guarded the dragon, which is very important, especially with two junglers. So if each team has a jungler, and well, the bottom lane still seems to do pretty well considering it's a 1v2 lane, and actually even getting the kill there with no help at all. So, and that's because the healer is actually in mid here. So Taric is not as good a support character as, or not as good a healer I should say, as Soraka, but is a lot better at dealing damage, and of course because of his stun he's also, he just has more utility. So all in all, it's yeah, you cannot really compare the two, but if you want a support character and yeah, you want to not just heal and yeah, and not get kills, you would do better to get Taric instead of Soraka. I personally like Soraka because I like that she specializes in just this one thing and she's really good at it, and yeah, it's just a matter of taste, I guess. So Taric already has an oracle. Oh wow, nice bear. So the skin on Annie is really nice. Anyway, let's go back to what Shaco is actually doing. He's apparently moving toward dragon. No, not actually getting dragon. So it seems that the enemy jungler hasn't been in his jungle for a while. Oh, this one is also still there. So he's only taken out the two golems, not getting any experience from the jungle, and that is quite surprising because, well, we all know that it is a lot of experience that can be gained here. And if you just leave it there, even though you have all of the jungle capabilities, then it is a waste. So a 6th assist, which is good enough for Shaco. Shaco really doesn't need the kills, especially with the buffs, because the buffs, especially the red buff of course, gives him a lot more power. And they are now going for dragon. So Shaco gets an extra, oh yeah, let me show you that. He gets 20% bonus damage when striking from behind. So that goes for dragon and the golem and things like that too. And that is a huge deal in chasing down enemies and things like that. While jungling, of course, getting the first hit from behind can be really important on some of the, well, more important buffs. So like the dragon buff or the red buff and the blue buff. But yeah, that only goes for the early game normally. And yeah, the trick he did there by placing the box, the Jack in the Box, behind the minions, they will actually turn around to kill the Jack in the Box. Oh, he's actually leaving one of the... Apparently saw something I wasn't paying attention to. But he actually put it behind the minions. They will turn around and then you can attack them from the back. So roaming Taric, getting a little bit of extra gold there from the jungle, which if you're Shaco you should be fine with, because yeah, well, that's kind of the deal you make. If you have a roamer, he cannot really stay in lane because that's not the point of his game, and you have to allow him to steal some of your jungle. So they do take out, I don't know which turrets, but mid turret and bottom turret have fallen. It's probably mid turret. Don't know where that was. Yeah, well, the Scion was in the bottom lane. And they finally take out this this last minion. Oh, not even. They finally noticed the last minion being there. But with the clairvoyance, they know they were spotted doing that and actually retreated. So Shaco getting the blue buff then. It might be a good plan to give it to someone else already, but yeah, and now you see the golem turns around and you can hit it from the back, and it really makes a huge difference in how fast you can take him out. But Annie, for example, could really use the blue buff, could really use the extra mana and the cooldowns. Yeah, it's not as important now as it is late game, but we will see late game that he will start giving the buffs to teammates. At least that's what I'm assuming, because that's what you should do. And here they give Annie the blue buff, or at least attempt to. Annie should get out of there and come back in when it's a little bit safer, and it's not going to be a little bit safer. So Annie has to just move out. Yeah. Good work. Nothing they could do. They just let one of them die and don't go in to be killed after that. So they still have a ward up. They can see that the blue buff is actually gone. And that's unfortunate. They were trying to do it in a sneaky fashion, and unfortunately didn't get it done. But hey, that's what you get for being sneaky. So going to top, Singed has overextended quite a bit and should be available for a gank. Again, we see no Jack in the box. In this case it would have definitely helped. I'm not saying they would have gotten the kill, but or maybe they still will. Yeah, Irelia is really powerful here. Well, maybe that was Tarek, but he didn't get his stun off because then, well, Singed would have stopped. But Irelia seemed to have a lot of power in her her ultimate, at least, or one of her other skills. So we see a lot of Philosopher's Stones lately. They seem to have replaced the what are they called? The Heart of Gold for, well, the basic gold per 5. Because it used to be all Hearts of Gold, and nowadays people buy the Philosopher's Stones. So the Philosopher's Stones, of course, give you mana and health regen. So mana regen and health regen. Let me show. Come on. And you gain an additional 5 gold per 10 seconds, which is awesome. So Tarek has 2, and he has 2 hearts of gold because he doesn't have minion kills, as you might be able to see here. Yeah, so he is heavily behind on the minion kills. He should be about 50 higher to be in the same range as his laning allies. And the Shaco, well, he's a little bit lower because he has been ganking quite a lot, and of course the jungle minions are worth a lot more gold, well, individually, and therefore he doesn't have as many, but he has the same amount of gold. So Shaco running out of there, he doesn't want to compete with the Anivia. Anivia is a lot stronger, and there's no need to try to damage her a little bit, because, well, why should he? It's much better to just go on and farm in the jungle. So another red buff. By now I think one of his teammates would want the red buff, but okay. As long as nobody claims it, it is still his. And again going for the Singed here, and Singed getting slowed. This time putting down Jack in the Box, and you could really see the difference because he couldn't move back as far as he did the last time. And they eventually got the kill last time, and here it was just almost an instant kill. So he just couldn't get away. So this turret is pretty dead. Shaco going for the boots of mobility because he is ganking a whole lot, and that's the reason why you should take them. If you're in lane with Shaco or something like that, yeah, if you're just jungling without actually ganking a lot, ganking sometimes, don't get the boots of mobility, get something else. There's a lot